Namaste guys. So in this video we are going to learn about employee attrition. Okay. So those who doesn't understand what is mean by attrition. So basically we want to know whether our employees want to leave or not. Okay. So they are leaving the company or not, and what are the factors that are responsible that employees are leaving the company. Okay. So we are going to learn about things. So before I start about the coding, let's try to understand what is our data. Okay. So basically you are a HR analyst and you want to determine why why your employees are leaving the company, what are the reasons that affecting them, and which are those people who are leaving from which departments, etc. Okay. So in your data set, these are kind of details are given: education, environment satisfaction, job involvement, job satisfaction, performance rating, satisfaction, work balance. Okay, and here we have given them some numbers to identify how much qualification they have. For example, if the number is 4, it means it has master, and it is 5, it means it has done doctors. Okay, similarly in that way, let's see our data in Excel format, okay, or CSV, that means comma separated values. Okay, so here you can see our data. So here you can see age, attrition, business travel, okay, daily rate, department, department, distance from home, education, education. Okay, so as you can see, these are this is our all our data. So first thing we are going to do is we are going to import all the important libraries that we are going to use and our data set. So first I have import NumPy for numerical calculation, Matplotlib for graph plotting, Seaborn for graph plotting as well, and pandas for comma separated values or data handling. Okay. So first what I have done is I have called my library pd.readcsv, that is comma separated values, and I have called my call my dataset, okay, that is employees, okay, employee.csv. So here you can see my dataset, okay. So it is currently showing me 5 rows and 35 columns. Okay, now let's explore our data and see what kind of things are available in our data set. So first thing I have done is I have typed d.info. Just I have stored my all my value of data set into a variable called d. That is the reason I have typed d.info, and here you can see all the columns, okay, that available in our data set. And here you can see that it also contains object. So just if you are a beginner in machine learning, you can't simply put your object data set into a machine learning, because machine learning only understands numbers. Okay, they don't understand, for example, yes, no, hello, okay, these kind of things. So first we are going to do is convert these object into numbers forms. Okay, we are going to do it later onwards, just in case. Okay, and what other things we learn from it, that our data contains 1470 entries. Okay, and start from 0 to 1469, and it contains 35 columns. Okay, after that we will check its shapes, that is d dot shape. Here you can see the number of rows and the number of columns. Now after that I have typed d dot describe, so it will show me all the calculation. For example, what is the mean of my data, standard deviation, minimum, 25 percentile, 15 percentile, 75 percentile. Here you can notice something, that it contains 8 rows and 26 columns. Okay, but in reality we have 35 columns, not 26. Just that d.describe only works if you have a numerical values. Okay, it doesn't work on object data types. That is the reason it is not showing all columns. Here you can also read that our data types contain 26 integer types and object type is 9. As you can see, 26 column. Because of 26 columns, that is data type, sorry, integer type. That is the reason d.describe works on it, and it shows our count, mean, standard deviations. Okay, So as you can see, the average age or the mean of age is 36 or 37. So most of the employees that working in my company or company is 37. Okay, and the daily rate, distance from home. So most of the employees that live working here live nearly 10 kilometers away. Okay, and their education, employee count. Okay, and other things. So you can see and understand what is the company scenario and how young and old age people are working in the company. Now, what first thing I have to do is I have to see what kind of data contains object data type. So what I have done is I have typed D, select D types. D types means data types, and I have include object dot columns. So it simply means that in my data set, select data types which contain object. And okay, and dot columns mean that I need to know in which columns. So these are the columns. Okay, column settings. As you can see, these are all our data types, and I want to know how many objects are there. So it is 9. Just to know, you can also get this information from d.info. Okay. After that, we are going to remove all the necessary data so that we can, use in our machine learning or graph plotting visualization. So how you can know what kind of data is useful for you and what kind of data is unnecessary for you. Okay, in my as you can see in here, I have typed d dot drop columns employee count, employee number, over 18, and standard hours. Now, employee number is nothing, just a roll number. For example, I am studying class 8, so I got some roll number. Okay, so roll number is not is necessary for this machine learning. So employee number is not important. That is the reason I am dropping the employee number. Over 18, it is basically just asking whether the employees working in your companies is over 18 or not. Just to know, I don't think there is any standard IT company or other things where anybody allowed anyone less than 18 to work there. Okay, so it is asking for that, and standard hours and employee count. uh, if I show you the data, uh, let's see where's the here you can see this is the employee count. Okay, for example, if age is 41, okay, employee count is basically means how many employee of this data. Okay, if you go downwards, you can see employee count is always one in my data set. So it is useless thing adding into my machine learning data. Okay, as you can see, I'm going downwards, but employee count value is one. So adding this thing that is totally worthless is useless. Just to know, before you do any kind of machine learning, make sure that you check what kind of data is useful or not. You can do in Jupyter, but I recommend that you just go through once in your Excel to see what's going on in the dataset, because that is much better. Okay, and the next data is standard hours. So standard hours is also not important. A question is why I'm not counting standard hours. If I go upward, you can see that there is many other parameters. For example, monthly income, monthly rate, okay, and hourly rate. So these are the important parameters. So if I remove this one, standard hours, it's not going to affect because I have also calculated what is the overtime I have done. Okay, so these are the things that you can use. Okay, and adding extra unwanted variables just going to increase the workload on your machine learning model. So make sure that you don't use any unnecessary things. Okay, so I have reduced to I've dropped all these and store this in a variable called dataset. So here is this dataset dot shape. Now, now what I am done is I am looking, is there any null value? For example, in my dataset, is there any null value or NA and 0, etc. Sorry, only null value, not 0. I'm only looking, is there any null value? So I have typed dataset is null is dot any. So I'm getting false result. It means that there is no null value. And I've also done is null dot sum. Suppose there is some null value. So what it will this command will do, it will calculate it how many null values are there. Okay. Now let's try to visualize our data. So first thing what I have done is I have typed sns.count. I typed dataset attrition. So basically, I want to see how many employees want to leave the company and how many don't. So you can see more than 200 want to leave the company, but more than 1200 don't want to. Okay, now let's calculate the percentage that basically want to leave and see the numbers how many want to leave. So I've typed a simple thing. Okay, so 237 employees want to leave the company and 1233 doesn't want to leave the company right now, and it is near about 16%. So 60% of your workforce are looking for new place. Okay, so you want to reduce this and you want to know what is the reasons and who are these people. As I plot a graph between X age and attrition. So basically what I'm seeing here is the age of the people and how many want to resign it. As you can see, if you look from here 18 to 35, you can see majority of the people are really want to quit. So just to know, when you are young, so most of the want change the company so that a better career. Okay, just to know, I'm telling these kind of things because when you get the data, you have to tell your employee or customer what you have learned from it, and you have to tell them a story. Okay, so what I can see from this data, that many young generation, okay, so sorry, that young employees want to leave the company. For why young employees want to leave the company? For obvious reasons. Better pay, better salaries, less work, or that is they are near from home, etc. Okay, so this is for age. So you can see young employees want to tend to live more, okay, as compared to the old ones. Similarly, I have plot job role attrition. So in which department basically most of the people are want to leave. So as you can see, most of the people who are from lab technicians want to leave the company. After that, they are from sales executive, research scientist. Okay, so what I'm getting from my data set, that the major problem are arising in lab technicians, sales executive, research scientist. So I need to focus on these three departments. Okay, and on these three departments, I need to focus on younger ones because they are the ones who want to leave the company. Okay, so this is what I'm getting from my data set. Just to know, you need to understand what your data tells. Else, what the hell you are doing to, see your data set. Okay, you need to understand. After that, I have plotted a heat map. Here you can see you can read the number 21%, 30%, etc. So it tells you how your data set is related with others. For example, age. Here you can see 21%. So 21% is education. So higher the age is, so age basically related to education. Okay, and you can see different kind of parameters. But more important thing here is, uh, so you can basically see different kind of things. Okay, how one variable related to other variable. Okay, so this is what heat map does. Okay, and this is basically correlation graph. Okay, now after that, we have to, as I've told you in earlier, that we have to convert our object data types into a integer form so that we can use in our machine learning programs. So I'm going to do that. So first, what I have done is I have again to call my data set to see that how many objects are there. Just to know, here I have used data set. Before that, I have used D. Let's see, D. Okay, because I have dropped some unwanted data, employee count, employee number. Okay, so I'm calling data set and I'm see how many are there. So it is 8. Last time it is near about, I guess, 9. So what I have done is I have converted my data into Unicode unint. Okay, and import is true, and what after converting it, I'm checking is there any object data type available in my dataset or not. As you can see, length is 0, so there is no object data type after using this command. After that, ignore this line. After that, I what I have done is I have typed dataset.head to see whether there is any object data type or not. visualize, personally visualizing yourself. Okay, as you can see, there is no object data type here. But if I go up there, you can see there's are object data types here. So what I have done is I have converted these object data type into unsigned integers. As you can see, you can read unsigned integers. Okay, and here I have typed dataset.info to see is everything all right or not. Okay, after that I've changed just column of one attrition yes to attrition. For example, if you go here, you can see attrition yes. So I've just changed its names to attrition. The reason is that because this is the most important parameter to whether to know whether employee is leaving or not, and this is going to be our predicting values, because we are going to predict whether the employee is going to leave or not. So first we have what we are going to do is split our data. So in X data set, I have include all variables except attrition. In Y data set, I only include attrition data set because I want to know whether somebody is going to leave or not. After that, I have called from SQL on model selection train test split. Okay, so basically I'm splitting my data set for training purposes. So X train, X test, Y train, Y test, train test split, X comma Y, test size 0.2, random state 42. So let's try to understand what it means. So what I have done is I have called my X and Y data set and it divide into point 0.2. Point 0.2 is basically 20%. So 80% data is our training data and rest 20% is our testing data. So whatever value you put in point 0.1, point 0.5, point 0.3, point 0.7, it is going to be in our testing data. Random state 42, just just Google 42. It is an interesting article you will find on Wikipedia. Read why I put 42. It is a very interesting thing. You will learn a lot of things. So I highly recommend read about the stories of 42 number. Okay. After that, I will look what is the shape of my training data. So here you can see the shape of my training data and here my test shape. Okay. And in this similar manner, you can see your X text shape and Y test or Y train shape. Okay. Now, first model, now we have done the splitting our data. Now we are going to use our machine learning models. So first model that we are going to use is logistic regression. So logistic regressions only provide two outputs, yes or no. There is no in between. So that is the reason I'm using logistic regression. So first I have called logistic regression and enter the value of X train and Y train. Okay. After that, I have predict LGR logistic regression. So I've stored my function into LGR. That means logistic regression, and I will predict the value of my from my X test. And I want to check whether how much accurate my logistic regression is. So you can see it has accuracy of 86%. And here is my confusion matrix. Okay. Just to know, I assume that you know guys what is a confusion matrix. If you don't, comment on my videos and I will create a separate blog, everything else. Okay. Now, after logistic regression, we are going to use our random forest classifier. So here our random, I've defined that my random forest classifier. Okay. X train and Y train, and again testing my data, and here I have checked accuracy score and confusion matrix. As you can see, my random forest classifier is more accurate than my logistic regression. In that similar manner, you can use many other models, for example SVC and other SVJ, or there are many other, for example. Okay, so you can use it. So in that way we have trained our model. Okay, so I hope you learned something. If you have any kind of doubts and queries, make sure you ask in comments and feel free to ask any queries. The dataset and the code is everything is provided link in description. So make sure that you check it out. I hope you learned something from it. So thanks for watching and have a great day.